Welcome, everyone. This is Piling Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Harry Adwin.
Hi.
Harry Endus.
Hey, everybody.
Maven.
Hey, y'all.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
And this week we will begin with some game news. First off, the Battle of the Five Armies and the Dwarves of Erebor. This is the start of a new lore series by the developers. Chris Pearson posted the first one talking about the Battle of the Five Armies and its impact on the Dwarf Allegiance.
Dwarf Allegiance storyline. Yeah, it was really cool, actually. I read this out loud the other night while I was waiting for the game to reload because I crashed.
And yeah,
it's really, really good. Chris combines actual Tolkien lore with LOTRO lore very seamlessly. I mean, as I was reading it, I was thinking, there's going to be people that aren't going to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
This is going to end up like in the people thinking of the piece that LOTRO has done is going to be like lore. But yeah,
which is good.
It's really good. Yeah, it's really good.
And very interesting.
And
super
very
interesting.
Yes. So therefore, if you want to know how the Battle of the Five Armies does fit in with the Dwarf Allegiance system and the Battle of Dale, which of course happens in our time frame when we were too busy at the Black Gate, then this will talk about that. And we also have a new update in Bull Roar, the first two builds of 21.2, because the first one had a few problems with the instances, so they created a new one and brought that open on Friday, and that's one that's currently open over the weekend.
I'm so excited for this build because of filters.
Ah, yes, filters. Yes, being able to...
I could care less about the instances at this point, but the filters thing was really exciting.
All right, which one is your favorite? The sounds, the quests, or the items?
I have to say items, because being able to filter out all of that third age...
Oh my gosh, yes.
That keeps filling up my bags is going to be awesome. And then sounds would be second, because I was going through Dunlin today and realizing how much I hate hearing them say the old woman of the mountain has told us that we must not help Duvodiad. I hate that sound. I hate that sound. I hate that sound. I can filter it out now and not just have to turn voiceover off to remember to turn it back on later.
Yeah. plus it's character. We can do it character by character. So like
character
with the items,
or like
my lower level, my lower level, characters can still get their allies, but my level caps don't have to have them anymore. I'm so excited.
Right.
And this is all proof that she's no longer questing in North Ithilien, because she's not so excited about getting rid of the help the herbalists thing that was driving her crazy.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
You know,
the next alt that goes through North Ithilien won't have to worry about helping in the herbalists either.
Yes. What I'm going to be happy about is the first time I do Attack at Dawn.
Killing the trolls?
No, the first time I do Attack at Dawn after the update it's not killing the trolls. I don't mind that one too much.
Oh, the ward collar.
Yes, that stupid war collar.
And it won't go up the loot bag. That'll be awesome.
Yes. Also, the pendant in the Lone Lands.
Oh, right? I don't mind that one too much.
I do. I mind that. That's the same for me as the collar. It's like I open my bag up and I've got a bajillion pendants.
Yeah, I guess it's because the war collar you have to go so far out of your way in order to do it. But in the pendant, at least I'm going in that direction eventually. Then, in addition to that, we also have the ability in-game chat to change the volume level of individual people in there. And
see, that's less important to me because I don't use voice chat anyway.
Yeah, we don't use it. But there's some of us who still use it under certain circumstances. And let's face it, one of the reasons why a lot of people use out-of-game voice chats is because of that.
Because you can't hear anybody in in-game voice chat.
Well, I have no trouble hearing people.
I do all the time. I can't hear anybody.
Oh, I have never had that. There are some times where I have some people who are louder than I would prefer. Some people are softer than I would prefer, but this is what this is supposed to alleviate. But oh yeah, if your in voice chat is so bad that you can't hear anyone at all, yeah, I can see why you prefer Discord or something like that.
Yeah, even with master volume turned up and everything except for in-game voice chat turned way down, I still have trouble hearing people. That's why Discord is superior, because it lets me turn people up.
Yes, but when I'm in my Sunday groups, they have never adopted. Actually, one of the Sunday groups I do sometimes has a Discord channel, and I don't know why the weekly rates are done in game chat. But that's sort of strange. And also, they finally have the mounts collection panel updated.
Yay!
So, yes. So now it's in the same style as the emotes and the pets.
And
Yeah, so it has all of the potential mounts that a player can get, without including potential mounts that you can't actually obtain, which is nice. So everybody's numbers will be a little bit different.
Yeah, so your maximum number will be reflective of the maximum number you could possibly get, as opposed to the maximum number some other person might theoretically be able to get.
And the Aria of the Valor now is going to have a class deed tome that's automatically going to complete trait point granting class
that's
deeds.
so awesome. Yep. And I went in and checked it out. It's 14 trait points you get extra.
Nice.
I mean, not extra, but you don't have to go back and do all the skill deeds and the class quest deeds.
Okay.
Class quests.
Now I want to Aria another alt.
Somebody out there who already did it, right?
I'm almost done with mine, but now I really want to Aria another alt. And this one might have been my favorite. In the Etten Wars, High Elves can now use the back doors of keeps. And that made me laugh.
That had to be a very unpleasant surprise for Freeping High Elves when they couldn't use the back doors of the keeps. Oops. Uh-oh.
But that is kind of funny. I can just picture them all standing around like, why can't I get in? Why can't I get in? Yeah.
I'm also happy for anybody at Endgame doing the allegiances. There was this weird thing that if you completed the complete story, like all the chapters of an allegiance that you're working on, you wouldn't be able to do, there's these collection quests that you get given every other day or so to get more allegiance points. And if once you completed the book, you never got that particular quest for that particular allegiance again. So people were passing the word. It's like, don't do the final chapter of any of the allegiances because you'll stop getting those quests. Of course, I did 2 of them before I found that out. But that's fixed now. So that I'm happy about that. It's a relatively minor thing for the, overall gameplay, but still it's nice to know that those aren't going to go away.
That's awesome.
And they also fixed a bug with the barbershop camera. In that if I remember correctly, the zooming on that was really bad.
Especially,
you couldn't zoom out, right? You couldn't
zoom out, yeah.
Right, and now that there are body type options to change, zooming out is kind of important.
Yeah.
So they're fixing that.
And also, they've made some changes to Lua, how they handle list boxes. And apparently there was some sort of bug related to list boxes, and that they have finally gotten around to fixing that. Now, there is one little problem in that there are some plugins that were written that depend on the buggy behavior. And those will be broken. Buff bars is the one I've noticed is going to be broken by this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. buff bars, the option selector is completely broken, and on the panel where it shows the buffs that are active, which is of course probably the most important part of buff bars, that is showing rather than a transparent color, it's showing as an opaque color. So therefore, the last one, everything else gets overwritten because what they're doing is apparently layering over this new bar plus blank space below it in order to fill it in, and now it's opaque instead of transparent, so you can't see what's below it now. So yes, that breaks buff bars. So, unfortunately, as far as I know, the developer of buff bars is no longer maintaining it because I've not seen an update for buff bars for 3-4 years maybe.
Oh, that's too bad.
So I have a feeling we may be having to look for a new one unless somebody either picks up buff bars or I can figure out what's going on and change it. But the thing to be aware of is that when you get into the update, when it does launch, then make sure you check out your plugins to see if they're working properly. Anything else anyone has of note? Then,
Anything at the moment. I'll probably think of something after you move on.
of course.
Isn't that how it usually works?
Yeah, that's how it usually works.
Of course.
Then let's head into the beacon. And we will begin with our weekly comment. And that is, what are you least good at doing in LOTRO?
Standing still.
I was going to say poking things for you.
That too.
Not poking things.
Not
is
poking
more
things.
Yeah,
accurate.
not poking
accurate.
things.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Avoiding temptation, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
avoiding poking things.
Requires taking hands off the keyboard
Yeah.
entirely. And the mouse.
Mine is anything to do with jumping. If it's a jumping quest,
Ooh.
I suck.
Yeah. I was going to say rating, but then I remembered PvP.
Oh, that bad, huh, Pine Leaf?
You saw Fellowship of the Creeps.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, I have
Right.
not seen Fellowship of the Creeps.
Well, then, maybe that's better off that way.
Is it one of those lots of dying experiences?
Yeah, lots of piney time.
With something
Is it on
ending led
YouTube?
around, so I'm sure there were a lot of Pine Leaf deaths.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
pretty much Andang's way of leading people around tended to result in Pine Leaf dying. I remember that from Adventures.
Just generally, right? Didn't even
So,
have to be in
so
the
I don't know
indoors
that
for
that's necessarily you being bad at PvMP, Pine Leaf.
I mean, we could always test this with a different group.
Yeah.
I am down for this.
But
He's a good
just-
leader.
PvMP
So is
first.
Maven.
But they need to fix PvMP first.
Well, if we're going to try it, we might try it before the new 115 armor gets out.
It's not already ridiculously unbalanced.
Sorry.
Oh, well.
Well, that's the other thing, by the way. The training dummies are up to 115
Oh, yeah.
now, and they got more.
That'll
Oh,
be helpful.
yay! So you can go and practice against the dummies.
Yeah. See, I knew I'd think of something.
I snuck something in there too, so.
I am probably least good at fishing.
Yes.
How about crafting?
I'm actually not horrible at crafting. I just don't like
Oh,
it.
you just don't like doing it. Oh, okay.
She
I
makes
actually
really
did.
hope tokens and weapons.
Yeah, I'm really
Oh,
not
yeah.
not great at fishing. I don't have the patience for it. So just
Yeah.
actually, what I really am least bad at is player events. I don't have the patience to be around other people,
All right.
which is sad because I really used to.
All right. Now, into fan site news, there was a note that, well, Andang is opening up a pawn shop in Minas Tirith to sell Piney figurines.
Really?
I saw Andang visits a pawn shop, and I thought, an awesome addition to Bree is a pawn shop. That'd be very
Yeah.
cool.
No, the idea he had of that is that he was doing the quest for the quest to cleanse the artifact in Moria. In
Wondering
Mordor?
which class he was doing that for, because it wasn't
Yeah.
the champion, because we didn't go to Minas Tirith.
Yeah, I can't remember where he actually. No, he didn't actually go on the quest yet, so I don't know where he actually went, or if he went there yet. I think the reason for it is because it said it looked like a woman holding a spear. So he was saying, "Oh, it's figurines of Pine Leaf."
Well, the champion icon is a woman holding a spear, but that has nothing to do with Pine Leaf or Wardens. It actually,
Well, yeah,
it was a really cool story that I'm not going to spoil, but it was cool enough that I thought it was cool, and I took screenshots of it to share with people who aren't going to be running champions through it anytime in the near future, like Maven and Sands and
right.
Pine Leaf and.
Yeah, but before he went out and actually did it, because he ended his episode getting ready to go out to it, he was talking about pawn shops in Minas Tirith and where they're selling these things, probably.
Oh.
Like the legend of Pine Leaf. Like there's this whole backstory
Or they have-
about, a little hobbit named Pine Leaf that,
They have
warden
all these-
extraordinaire.
These supposedly hand-carved statues, but if you turn them over, it says "Made in Harad."
Yes.
They have cheap labor there.
All right, and Cosmos Gem 89 finds a new favorite mount with the steed of the White City, and that is the screenshot of the week, and it goes well with the snowy background here.
It really does. It's a good shot. Pretty horse.
And I'm sure it costs a pretty penny too.
I don't know what steed that is, actually. Oh, it's the Steed of the White City.
Yeah.
I don't have that horse.
When I
probably
went to his
out.
Twitter account, he said that he had bought it. It was during the sale last week.
Oh,
So
I'm
wow.
sure.
he's taking pictures of it, because it was on sale in the store.
Yeah, that does help get incentive for the matter.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are listening live, just note that there is one more day left to the Harnkanger game.
And if you're not listening live, wah wah.
You can watch the videos on YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah. You do have the videos on YouTube and in the archives at Twitch. Now let's head into our store sales. And anything nice that's on sale this week?
No, not really.
Oh,
Since
Depends
we-
on if you want to go in
well,
and see if
you
you
know,
can stay alive in
since we're
PvP.
just talking about how unbalanced and terrible the Moors are, this week's free sample is useful for people who actually do crafting. Universal Ingredient Pack ×1 with the coupon code MAKEMORE, MAKEMOR, which also made me giggle even though I don't do crafting, and 20% off monster classes, monster traits and skills, and 100% infamy renown gain thingies that I never use.
then let's head into our site news for this week, and we will then talk about the don't miss a minute of this year's Harnkanger games.
Which have been awesome because I didn't get to see a lot of it live because for whatever reason this week I kept getting home after they had already gone off the air. which is unusual because usually I'm getting home right around the time they would have been going on the air. So I was thinking, yeah, I'll be able to catch that, no problem. Yeah, nope, didn't happen. Except for Friday. Yesterday, I actually managed to get home right when they started streaming, so I was watching it on my tablet, and it was really cool. I caught the tail end of whatever it was right before the Brandywine Bridge race. The bridge race was really cool. Actually, I was most fascinated by the fact that Cordovan was on an admin account and he was like detached from the character and kept doing weird things with his camera angle. So you got to see really nice angles of the Brandywine Bridge and the Brandywine River and all that other stuff. Yeah, it was really fun. They could make a lot of money if they sold that to people. I'm just saying, tourist mode charged like 7,000 LOTRO points for it. They would cash in. Seriously.
They would.
Oh, that'd be cool.
People would buy that. Even as a per character purchase, you could sell it, no problem. And then today was the Shire.
Are you listening, Standing Stone Games?
Today was the Shire Drunken Merchant Run, which was also really cool. They had to drink and then run around the Shire. So they went from Mickle Delving to Buckland, the gate where you go into Buckland, and then they had to take another drink, and then they had to run to Needlehole, and then you get through the gate to Needlehole, and you take another drink, and then you run up to the 3 farthing stone, and the first person who jumped against the 3 farthing stone was the winner. And I think it was a high elf that won it.
I hate that I missed that. That sounds like a blast.
It was really fun to watch.
Well, that doesn't hurt. That certainly doesn't hurt the position of the elves in the standing for the medals. Then,
no, I think the elves were actually ahead before I had to go today. I was going to say something that I got distracted.
Sorry.
Thanks, Pine Leaf.
Well, hey, maybe it'll come to you in a minute like it did with Maven.
I know what it was.
There you
go. Winning time was just under 19 minutes. That's what I was going to say. It was like 18 minutes, 55 seconds or something like that. I was really impressed by the winning time. Because it's kind of all over the Shire. As somebody who quests the Shire a lot, that was kind of all over the Shire. And doing that while your character's completely trashed, I salute you.
Very well. Then let's head into Mordor 21.2. Finally!
Which talks about actually some of the stuff we've already gone over with the patch notes.
Yeah.
But the finally is about the filtering stuff, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, that is definitely something we're all happy about. I mean, even Aaron's happy about it.
Yeah, he makes some mention of something that actually was a known issue, which was that loot box items were disappearing from people's bags on Bull Roar.
Oh.
I would imagine that they're going to get that fixed before they make it live, but it is mentioned as a known issue in the patch notes. So stuff that people have been getting out of Gorgoroth boxes is apparently just gone, because it's not in, for whatever reason, it wasn't in the data compilation thing that they did on the back end for 21.2.
Right.
So it just vanished from bags and off of characters, and I would imagine people were kind of upset by that.
Which is a good thing it's Bull Roar and not live.
Yeah.
That's part of the purpose of Bull Roar, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is in the known issues. Loot box gear does not exist in this build due to a data compilation error.
Mm-hmm.
Arid is actually
that was take one.
I was gonna say I think that was Thursday's
that was
build notes.
Yeah, I thought that was fixed for Friday's build.
Of Arid's in chat, he actually said that it's fixed in build 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, we're linking to build 2. I think we need to link the notes to build 2 instead of build 1.
Well, if you have the notes for build 2.
Alright, so I shall... Alright, so
I went with the notes that I had.
Okay, so I will change the link.
I think we need new notepads, guys.
Look, after the Shire Drunken Merchant run, I went out and did my own drinking.
Uh-huh.
Not responsible for broken links.
Very well. And okay, that is updated, so therefore if you click on the show notes, you will get the correct version of it.
Thank you, Pine Leaf.
Pine Leaf, the link fixer. That's a mouthful.
He's the designated podcaster. He's the one who has to show up sober every week.
So he's like the DD of podcasts.
Then let's head into the Antipodean writer of the writing of the Rohirrim. Yeah, I had to stay sober so I could actually read this.
That too.
I would love to see Pine Leaf do this, not sober.
And this,
He's just going to ignore that.
right, okay.
Sorry, personal opinion.
Yes. By who? With the bay of the sounding trumpets came the riders of the mark as the new dawn rose over Pelennor. Sunrise dispersed the dark. The front gate of Minas Tirith shattered lay, all battered in with Rohan succored Gondor, their allies called the Rohirrim. King Theoden led his riders who had come by secret way, for the Pokemon were their willing guides to relieve Gondor that day. Just in time came the men of Rohan to ride down and then to kill every foe that came within their reach in their show of battle skill. Come, arise, rise Rohan riders, with fell deeds, slaughter, and fire. Lower spears, let shields be splintered. Come wrath and battle ire. With the sword cut down the foes before the sun set on today. We shall ride to the aid of Gondor, and what force can Rohirrim stay? So they sang to the rising sunrise as they charged with low spears and strength. By the thousands with their riders charged they the orcs all down their length. Then they hewed down the dark-haired Southron and the warrior Easterling. They cut down both Troll and Varag, led by the sword of the Rohan king. Theoden led on his horsemen as they recharged the southern line. They cut down the strong Haradrim, and their blood they poured out like wine. Then they charged at the mighty Mumaks, trampling down the Orcan power. From the need that day was desperate, so they fight, and they died that hour. In the moment of his triumph, from above like a bird of doom, descended the chief of the Nazgul, like the opening blast of the tomb. The chief Nazgul slew poor Snowmane, King Theoden's trusty deed, who threw off the king of Rohan's body, broken on the mead. Yet the Nazgul got slight victory, for he too was soon cut down. Then did Eomer have his vengeance, for he now held the Rohan crown. He rode on to slay their enemies and to break up their shield walls, to ride down the hosts of Sauron. With red blades see the foemen fall. Pelennor had room for battle, soon all his fields were dyed blood red. Blood poured from the heaped up bodies of the living and the newly dead. The war's fortunes turned against him, Eomer yet high in courage shone, for however went the battle, he and Rohan still fought on. Out of doubt to the new day's rising, out of dark to the rising light, I will ride to the sunlight singing, by my sword blood red and bright. To the end of hope I'm riding. I ride on through with breaking heart. Now for wrath, now for death and ruin. Let our deeds of vengeance start. Saying Aylmer as the tide of battle turned again and upon the hill, Rohan rallied around the warriors as they hacked and battled still. He defied the armies of Sauron. What was death to inglorious shame? So this was the last ride of Rohirrim. Their last deeds shall resound with fame. Bye.
Whoa.
I want a soundbite of that. I'm just saying.
I'm making that
That
into my
needs to be
ringtone.
like my new ringtone.
Yeah, exactly.
Should add it
Snaps
to
for
the
Bunny.
Pine Leaf countdown.
Yeah, no kidding. As a footnote, the second event today in the Hernkegger games was the poetry and story competition, and the Twitch chat talked Cordovan into reading all of that out loud. So in the playback, make sure that's one to watch because Cordovan actually reading all of that stuff out loud is awesome.
Oh gosh.
And it's time for the new player question of the week. And Ariendes, I heard that somebody else is providing it.
Yes, this week we got an email from Falkbridge, and he wrote in and he said, "Hi, Arendis. Hello, Falkbridge. This is Falkbridge from the Blue Mountains in Australia." And he says, in parentheses, "Hi, Maven," and he waves. So, hey to Maven.
Yeah, he's a great bud.
He says, "I have a new player question even though I have been playing for over 3 years now. This is a question that no one has ever answered, and it is like the elephant in the room because no one wants to talk about this on LOTRO Players News or LOTRO Academy, despite having had many discussions about virtues and, quote, everything under the letter J, end quote. My question is, what is it that unlocks the virtues and makes them available for slotting?" Now, before Terry says just buy them from the LOTRO store,
No
I
way.
must say...
She would never say that.
She wouldn't.
He would never say that.
I must say, I have never purchased a virtue from the store, and I don't plan to because they unlock on their own. I just want to know what makes them unlock, and before someone says, you unlock them by completing the deeds, I must also say I am a completionist, and I have completed many deeds. I have almost completed Deeds of Eriador on 2 alts. Despite me gaining many deeds in their virtues, many of them still remain grayed out. For instance, my Elf Lore Master at level 69 has achieved between 12 and 6 on all traits, but most are still grayed out, and I only have 5 open to be locked into slots. Whereas my main champion at level 62 has all traits earned between 10 and 6, but he has 6 available for slotting, and they are not the highest level traits. The weirdest is my Hobbit Guardian on about level 32 with 13 virtues available for slotting, and the traits available for slotting is different for every alt. Is it dependent upon race or class, or a combination of both? Do some virtues only unlock when you achieve a certain rank in them? I made a spreadsheet of all my alts to try to find any correlation, which I think is impressive.
Yeah.
That was my note, not his. But I still can't find any reliable trends as many of my alts are at a low level. This question came about because my third highest alt, Falkbridge the Dwarf Hunter at level 42, was very squishy, having a great difficulty in the 3 troll caves in the Trollshaw's epic quest line despite inspiration. He had not completed anywhere near as many deeds, but I discovered he only had 3 traits available for slotting. I thought that it must be that the missing ones were ones I had not achieved yet, but despite me gaining those 2 traits, they were still grayed out. 2 more did pop later when I achieved at least 2 for those traits. Please help so I can decide which traits to work on without spending LOTRO points. Falkbridge. So, this is the question for this week.
Don't spend your
Okay.
LOTRO points.
Yeah, first of all, don't spend your LOTRO points. I would never say that. I never say buy traits from the store. Usually when it's on sale, I say don't buy them from the store. What I think some of the confusion might come in by saying when it's grayed out. So if it's grayed out, it means that you have a deed somewhere that trait is applied to that's uncompleted. However, if you have a number in that box while the trait is grayed out, you can still click and drag it. However, when you click it to drag it, it's going to pop open your deed log, which will then
is really annoying.
Which is really annoying because it will then hide your trait panel. So usually what I do is I have to drag it off to the side so that I can still see slottable traits. And then you can slot it into, it also will pop up, when it pops open the deed log, it pops open whatever deed it thinks you need to complete in order to get more points in that virtue. But you can still slot it. You have to move the deed log out of the way. And then when you click, and usually what I do is I leave the deed log open after I've moved it out of the way, because then you pop the virtue panel open again on top of it, and then the deed panel already being open in the background isn't affected by this, so it doesn't try to pop up on top again. So then you can click and drag. So as long as you have numbers in there, even if it's grayed out, you can still slot those virtues.
Right. The ones you can't slot are the ones you have not earned any in yet.
Right.
And some of them, the first one you earn 2. I know.
Depending on where you get them.
Depending on where you earn them.
Yeah.
Because, like Shire, I think you get Innocence 2 for one of the deeds.
Usually it's the capstone deeds that sometimes might do 2.
Mm-hmm.
Since a minor deed is unlikely going to do it.
I think it's Life of Bounder Final that I'm thinking of that gives you Innocence 2.
Yeah, that sounds like one, because after all you go through in order to do that.
Yeah, 75 quests. Why do I know that number? Because it happens all the time. A lot.
Number of times you've done it.
Just real fast for other new players who might be free to play. We're talking about the ones on the outside being unlocked to slot on the inside, not the inside ones being opened, right? Does that make sense?
That is my assumption, yes, because otherwise if it's got a lock in front of it, it actually obviously needs to be unlocked.
Which can be done by going to the store or by becoming VIP, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, there are, of course, you do have minimum levels for each of them also.
Yeah, those are unlocked by level, and it actually will tell you when you hover over them.
Which level, so... Okay. But then the actual ones on the outside that can be then slotted in to be active, you just need to have earned something in them, even if they're grayed out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
And yes, the answer as to how you earn them is the most common way is,
complete deeds.
And it's usually the second tier of a deed.
If it's a Slayer deeds, second tiers to exploration deeds, it tends to be immediate.
And quest deeds, you will usually get one even for the first tier.
Yeah.
True.
But Slayers usually get a title for the first one, and you get the
virtue for the second.
He writes in the first paragraph, what is it that unlocks the virtues? Is that so just when you discover the proper deed?
Yeah, when you discover the deed, it unlocks the first level of the virtue. So completing one level of the deed to get the first point of the virtue. So as long as you have a number in that box, even if it's grayed out, because if it's grayed out, it'll also have a little ring that shows you're working on the deed. You're working on earning more points toward it through a deed of some sort, which is why the deed log pops open.
Gotcha.
And so then the ones that are full color are the ones that you're not working on gaining more points in right that moment?
Right.
Okay.
It's so confusing.
It is confusing.
Because
I finally stopped paying attention to the colors and just started dragging to see if I could.
Yeah, that's usually the thing to happen in there. Is you're probably just getting confused by the fact that most of them are gray, even though
there's numbers in them. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, since it pops because of where it pops the D-log open, it used to be that you could close the D-log while still holding the click and dragged virtue. So you could click and hold the virtue and then use the keyboard combination, which is Shift L, to close the deed panel again and then still slot the deed. But I haven't been able to do that in the last couple
I've been able to slot deeds by right-clicking on them, and I don't think that brings up the deed log. Am I imagining that, or?
No, I think it's a left click that brings up the deed log.
Yeah, so if I right click on the thing, it'll
You
slot
have to have
it into it, as long as it's an open slot.
Right. And you can right-click on ones that are already in the slots to unequip them so that you can use a different one.
Right.
I haven't tried that, so that's another good workaround.
It works
I don't
pretty
do
well.
a lot of right-clicking. I don't do a lot of clicking in general, honestly.
Oh, I knew that was coming. I could have actually said that for you because I knew that was going to be the next sentence.
That's why I was interested in the key combination to close the deed log. So Shift L is the deed log?
Shift L is the deed log, yes.
Cool. I
By
learned
default.
something. Thank you.
Very well. Then the answer to your question is that if you meant that making them so they're no longer grayed out, then yeah, the gray out is not as significant as I think you're assuming it is.
Yeah,
Which is confusing.
it is.
Let us know how it works for you.
Yeah, and if you have any more follow-up questions, feel free to email us. And guys, if you have any questions for us, feel free to email too.
We'll try
By the way,
to
I should
answer.
give you a PS that Falkbridge is the person who wrote the Bobway theme. For those of you, I think Sands knows it. The Bobway theme. Yeah, he wrote that.
That's awesome. Has he met Bobway in game?
Yes, he has, actually. He was present when Bobway wandered out playing his flute for Corey as a surprise.
That's awesome.
Bobway, by the way, for anybody that's wondering, is our red shirt. It's our red shirt elf, the guy that went to Valinor with Finway and all the other guys, and
Finway and Ingway and Olway and
didn't make it.
And didn't make it.
Yeah.
But he's now wandering Middle Earth again.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's my storage elf, which is a terrible thing to do to the poor guy. But you know.
Well, that's what you do with a red shirt, right? You just stick him where
Well,
you
yeah.
think you
I'm worried if I let him go out, he's just going to
right.
buy the
You can't let
farm.
those
You
guys
know.
adventure.
I know. So anyway.
Oh, well, let's then head out into the week in LOTRO. And Maven, what were you up to?
Oh my goodness. Well, I got a lot of stuff done, but I will. A lot of it also had Terry and Sands as my accompaniment, so I will not report on those. What I will report on once I can find my note. There it is. I found it. Yay. So Glordril's gotten to level 20 in her final allegiance, which is very cool. I'm waiting to see what happens. You know, once you get all 4 allegiances, I figure something magical will happen. So I'll probably be disappointed, but, I'm having a blast on my baby hunter. I just cannot believe how she's just one-shotting stuff. And it's like I'm to the point now, it's like I'm only doing orange and red quest lines because she's able to just like hold her own so well. And it's funny because I reminisce, when Glordril was a baby, oh my gosh. I mean, I would go do things. I would have to be at least 1 or 2 levels over before I'd even try a quest, so it's such a change. And I mean, she literally blew through the level 30 epic quest instance with Radagast at level 25. Everything was very important. Whoa. That is red. I was amazed. Now, part of it, I will admit, is that I know the instance well enough to where I didn't go racing toward the 2 Huorns, I knew to not do that. So I picked, I pulled one and then I pulled the other. So part of it is like that. But the other was just, and this is even with, because the red mobs, they deflect also. So I'm not like necessarily, hitting every time or I'm not doing damage every time, but I'm having a blast with her. So it's really fun.
I was actually going to ask, did you think that was because of game changes or just because you've been playing the game longer?
I think some of it is game change. I'm running her in blue line, and it's just, Barrage is the main one I'm using, the main skill I'm using, and it's just, I don't even want to, I thought to myself today, I probably shouldn't even say this tonight because I don't want hunters to get nerfed.
But it's so
coming.
refreshing now.
It's coming.
It's coming, yeah, but it's really nice. And then, of course, I think part of it, you're right, Terry, part of it is I do know, I know what I'm going into, when I go into the instances and stuff, so that probably helps. But I think even with that knowledge, without the game changes.
Even with that knowledge, if you can get off Barrage on a low hunter, it does amazing damage.
Oh, one shot. I mean,
Way
even
better
penetrating
than
shot,
before.
I've been able to one shot stuff. It's been great. I mean, I'm loving it. Now, there may be players who don't enjoy going after red mobs and having a chance of surviving, but hey, call me strange.
My baby champion wishes she could do that. So
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah,
So I shouldn't try it on my baby champ, huh?
As the underpowered
No.
you can. You'll discover the red circle pretty quickly.
And I'll be going through food really fast too, because I'll be dying so much, right? I'll have to keep
And health
eating
pots.
myself.
And
And health
other
pots.
pots
Oh, yeah,
because you
yeah.
have no way to remove poison or anything. Yeah,
Oh my god!
Mhm.
Oh my god! Well, I'm having a really good. So I'm gonna make hay while the sun shines. I was gonna have fun with her while I can.
Good plan.
Figuring that inevitably the nerf is coming. The nerf is coming.
No.
So Tin Fang Warble, the Ariad High Elf Minstrel, has taken his angry hands to Lingris and is heading toward Kurth Ungol. And Maven, my not Ariad, although she was blessing, so she's blessing. I can't remember. Yeah, but anyway, she wasn't. She didn't. Neither of them actually came up from 0. Is going to be heading into Barad-dûr shortly with Sans Terrian Pines. So I'm sure we'll be reporting on that next week. How about you, Sans?
I finished Filgashan for the first time with the girls of Middle Earth, and then ran through Thorn's Hall in disguise to celebrate. It took, I think we ended up finishing it twice, because we finished it and missed the challenge, but we kept going. And then we went back to it later. And, yeah, it was kind of fun, just sneaking around. We had high elves and hobbits and dwarves, and I'm sure nobody could tell anything was amiss.
No, we
orcishly.
were totally incognito.
Totally incognito. Especially with all the sparkles that were trailing because I was a ring.
And they kept saying, "Sir,
Sir,
are you
sir,
all right?
sir."
You look strange. I'll get back to my job now, sir."
Yeah. So
That was great.
that was pretty fun. And I went scourge hunting with Ploy last night. And
Yeah.
I found the most evil place in Middle Earth that I've seen yet.
Where was that? You didn't tell me that. Where was that?
I don't actually know where it was, but there were no spiders. It was not in Lingris.
Which scourge were we fighting?
We were on our way to fight somebody, and I don't remember who.
It's all a blur.
But it was, but no, it was evil. The music was appropriately evil. It was dark. It kept setting my feet on fire. I was just ready to go back to the Shire, and I was impressed with the design still. But yeah, I was very ready to get out of there. It was one of the last two, I'm pretty sure. But
Because the last one, we were out in the middle of like the lava, and
I think it was on the way
fire
out
and-
to the last
and we
one
had to-
that I started.
we had to do a bunch of jumping to get across lava flows
Thinking
and
that way.
stuff.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it was, yeah, it was well done. And very evil feeling and creepy. And I was ready to go
So,
relax in the
That
fire.
was actually a quick tour of all of Mordor, wasn't it? Because
It was.
the scourges were all over the place. So
and
yeah.
I'd never been to that last area before.
Yeah.
On Sands, on the live servers anyway. So, that was pretty cool. And, ran the Forges of Khazad-dûm with, Cinders, my sister, for the first time. And, well, we got completely lost and turned around. And
Which
lost
is
some
easy
more.
to do in that instance.
And she got thrown off, and it was interesting because I had no idea what I was doing either, so we finally pulled up Wikipedia and figured out where we were going and what we were doing, and it was fun. So then we ran through a bunch of other Moria instances, just because we could, because we were level 111, 112, and there were two of us and we could do that. So that was a lot of fun, and I introduced her to the invisible drums, and
The what now?
the invisible drums. You gotta keep going in Moria. We'll get you there.
Okay.
That's Grand Stairs.
Yeah.
Ah.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I think I was just looking through the Moria instances, and I think I still have some to do. But that was fun. Erndis, how was your week?
Well, in this week's episode of Erndis Has No Time and Needs to Prioritize Things in Her Life, I was actually able to quest in Moria just a little bit, but hey, progress. That was pretty much all I was able to do this week. Terry, what did you do this week?
Well, Landreval Terry did some more Dor Amarth questing. I had fun reading the dwarves with Russian accents.
That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the stout axes are from Russia. Or
Plus, don't forget
that.
the lady, the lady from the Black Book. You did
the
brilliantly
scholar
with her.
as part of the Black Book. She is adorable, but she is so not that bright. So it's not like the dippy elf voice, but it's a higher pitch.
She sounded like a third age Valley girl. It was great.
That's totally what I was going for, was the third age Valley girl. Yeah. And then I mocked her for saying that scholars dig in the debris, because scholars do not dig in the debris. They send expendable adventurers to go dig in the debris for them.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, you made that observation in the very next sentence.
And then we went digging in the debris for her, because we're expendable adventurers. What else are we gonna do? And then Malethril, the Warden, has finally officially entered Dunland on the Volume 3 Epic, and I'm so excited because I can finally, when Update 21.2 goes live, filter out the Devodiad crap that I keep getting from the Dunlendings and the voiceovers. I hate those sound bites so much. If one more Dunlending calls me Devodiad, I swear I'm just going to beat them about the head and shoulders. Then my Ariadberg Cirilla opened up Moria Volume 2. Because she's not waiting till the update for the Trait Point book. She's going to go finish at least through book 6 of Volume 2 so she can get her Trait Point that comes with the epic story. And then she's probably going to go to Dunland on Volume 3. I don't know. Because what else am I going to... I can't take her to Mordor yet. She's a burglar. She'll die. So I haven't figured that out yet. But she's almost at the point of unlocking the skirmishes for Moria, so that'll be fun, because I think she did do the skirmish tutorial, and I think she's got a Rohirrim warrior slotted as her archer, because Berg's an archers, and I don't think she's renamed him yet, but it's probably going to be something along the lines of Theopew, something like that. I know when I rated Malethril's Warden, her archer is Lego My Pew Pew. He's an elf that looks like Legolas, and his name is Lego My Pew Pew. So, Pineleaf, what were you up to this week?
We will begin with my Langeville Burglar, where I started the Misty Mountains Troll Slayer deed by killing a level 105 troll.
What?
What happened is that, you remember how on Thursdays I was behind you on the... So
you went picking on a level 105 troll? That was your solution?
No. But I was behind you because I had not finished the Black Book, the Chapter 1 of the Black Book yet.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, what I did is either late Thursday or on Friday, what I did then was go and do the burglar part of the Black Book, and they sent you into the Misty Mountains in order to do it. And when you're doing whatever you're doing there, you run into a level 105 troll. And so I'm doing this, okay, I fight the troll, I killed the troll. I mean, after all, I was about, 108 or 9, I guess?
109.
Yeah, so therefore, even I should be able to handle that. And then when we got in there, I killed the troll, and then it says, new deed, Troll Slayer.
That was just what you wanted to see on your screen, right?
Right. It's a Troll Slayer. You mean I must not have gone through the Misty Mountains with that character before, because I think I would have run to at least one troll somewhere. Actually, Misty's...
It's possible to
I
miss
guess
the
it is
trolls.
pretty easy. Yeah, it is possible to miss the trolls and the misties. It's not like the easiest thing to run into in the misties or something like this. So yeah, I guess it's possible to do that without worrying about it. So therefore, I unlocked the Misty Mountains Troll Slayer deed. Then I was able to catch up so that on Thursday I won't have any trouble. We could go into Barad-dûr without worrying about leaving me behind in the book.
Oh, good.
Then on my Crick Hollow Warden, I tanked the Dungeons of Dol Guldur, and this is my first tanking job at 115. I know Dungeons is exactly probably the prime tough tanking material there, but for me, it's progress.
How'd it
And
go?
I think it went pretty well all the way through. We had the usual tricky things with the dungeons of being detected and having to, go back trying to re-rescue those elves and all that fun stuff. And I had forgotten that I wasn't exactly sure with the last time I did this. I might have done this with some special, I don't know, was it something that Anding did or Corey did or whatever there where I might have done it, but that would have been the only other time I had ever done this dungeon. So therefore, my familiarity with it was, of course, with the solo version you get in the epic storyline. That's the only way which I'd ever been in dungeons before.
We
But
attempted
anyway,
it on Adventures, and I don't know that we actually finished it. I think that was one of the we're done sort of instances.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was one of the rare times where I did the featured instance so we did, of course, at 100 and 115 in order to get the stuff on there. So that was my rare time of doing that. And today the same character also then went in to finally finish up the stuff at Udun. I finally found the last 2 pages, and I'm sorry to say that one of the 2 pages that I found was right at the entrance to Udun. I completely missed the page at the entrance.
Oh no.
At least it's easy to get to.
Yeah,
So frustrating.
So that was one of them, and the other one was at the back of a camp near where you were shutting all those hatches earlier in there. So therefore, I finally got the last 2 there, all done with that. So I finally have the item in my house, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity, enough time to switch it on and listen to the whole thing all the way through. And the last one that I finished was the Spy's Quest. And that was a real pain tracking down my last 2 spies. I got desperate enough. I didn't know if it would work or not because it didn't work. So I presume that hunters must be special and that they can track through because I decided to see what would happen if I tried to use a couple of Drownhold compasses.
Oh yeah, it doesn't track through stealth.
It does not track through stealth. That's what I learned there. Well, let's face it. I've been holding onto those stupid compasses for
Since volume 2, book 9. Yes, I know.
right. For 50 levels now. So therefore, it's not. Yeah. So therefore, it's not exactly like I had great demanding needs for those things every so often. It took me 50 levels to actually use my first Drownhold's compass. So I looked for that, and eventually I found it when I was desperately going through, finding various places, trying to get one, and then there was, in a camp, a hunter that was being chased by a number of mobs. Now, I didn't know exactly what was going on. I guess I thought that the hunter took on more than he could chew and was running away or something like this, so I thought, okay, I'll just grab a couple of mobs and there, started killing them. It turned out there was a 115 hunter who was probably very capable of handling him. He just grabbing lots of mobs or something like that. But the first mob I killed in that big bunch where I couldn't tell one from the other was my final spy.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So I was really surprised. They were saying, "Okay, spies ate him." Hey, what? I didn't even know there was a spy in there.
Great. Of course, you know what's going to happen now.
What?
Anytime you're in Udun, you're going to trip.
Yeah,
Trip
you're going to
over
trip
it.
over the things.
Now that you've completed them, you're going to just trip over spies.
They're going to
all the
be
time.
everywhere.
They're gonna be everywhere. Yes,
You'll stumble across some spy convention,
That's right.
They're all in one place.
yes. And I also helped introduce centers to the Great Barrow and skirmishes. So we ran the first 2 parts of the Great Barrow, so we unlocked the third Great Barrel.
Yeah.
We could do that in the next field trip if everybody else is unlocked for that. And I also introduced her. Well, she said she had done Tuckbro before, but this was the first time she was doing Thievery, Mischief, and Pony in earnest, as opposed to...
And this was the first time Tuckborough went well, so thank you.
Tuckbro didn't go so well last time?
That's right. I remember she complained about. She was just like.
I
Kind of
may
freaked
have
out
given
about
bad
it.
directions, and she fell off a cliff and couldn't get back up for a while, and some other things went wrong, and I had to go try to find her, and then I got lost, and...
Yeah. Now, yeah, well, I wouldn't say it was a perfect run. We did have the incident where we got to the courtyard, and the layout of the courtyard made it that I made a poor choice on which mob to pull, because it was a mob that didn't look like it was close enough to the second lieutenant, but it turned out it was. So we had 2 deathmongers.
Ouch.
So that was really fun.
Oh,
But I
wow,
remembered how to
really?
heal, so we survived.
So we did survive that. So we got through. It was certainly better than getting double zealots or something like that.
Double Priest of Vengeance.
Double
No,
priest
I've
of...
heard.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh god.
How would you even tackle that?
Very
Double
carefully.
Very careful. Oh, I remember once doing Assault on the Ring Raid's Lair, yes, where we wound up with double Priests of Vengeance. Oh, that is annoying. It almost not... Yeah, it's even worse than getting double troll wound takers in raid. No, you don't want 2 double troll wound takers near each other. In solo, it's fine, but in raids, it's madness. And that is our week in LOTRO, so let's head into News Beyond LOTRO, where we're asking you to celebrate Hobbit Day in style. This sounds like a Terry Adwin.
What? No.
No, I mean, I'm thinking it's... Oh, I thought it was,
Yeah,
I thought it was
the
a
style
cosmetic thing. Okay.
No, it's a party pack for throwing a Hobbit party for Hobbit Day.
Ah!
It's a package put out by What a Workshop. It's a very pricey package put out by What a Workshop, but it includes some really nifty stuff.
All right, hey.
I'm not going to be throwing one of these parties.
Yeah, I guess not. $229?
Yikes. Okay.
I did say it was a very pricey package.
Yeah, okay, let's see. All right, a pipe of Bilbo Baggins. Okay, the One Ring. A portrait of Bilbo Baggins. Okay. A button of Bilbo Baggins. I guess it's one that didn't get lost.
Mm-hmm.
A Hobbit scarf. A One Ring key ring. A no admittance sign. A Hobbit feet magnet. Okay. I don't know. Somehow it doesn't impress me as wanting something to pay $200 for.
Yeah, but there are people who are collectors who will just
Mm-hmm.
snap it up.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose so. Well, I have a feeling that I will pass it.
But it is a really cool idea, and it is right. It's almost time for this to be, a thing. So
Yeah, it is almost time.
Yeah, it's later this month.
Yeah.
21st.
Well, yeah, that'll be this Friday.
That's right. Thursday. It wasn't Friday the 15th. This last Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 22nd is a Friday.
Yeah, 22nd
okay.
is Friday.
I keep thinking it's the 21st. I don't know why. Oh, I get it mixed up with Equinox. What can I tell you?
Well, there is that. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. And this week, we had, of course, that email we read earlier from Falkbridge, but we also have one from Big Ed. And Terry, would you like to read Big Ed's?
Nope.
Nope. I'm reading Big Ed's. Big Ed writes. I should have just started and pretended to be Terry. I know that listeners, and Terry Adwin, are fascinated by all things fishing related. Terry Adwin will be delighted to learn that Minecraft's fishing system is factually correct when fishing activity goes up when it rains. Fish will often feed aggressively as a low-pressure system moves into an area, then switch off again as the low-pressure system moves on and the barometric pressure begins to rise again. Going fishing in the hours before a storm system or rain showers move through the area will often make for a great day of fishing, so long as you don't stay too long and get rained on. The rain doesn't bother the fish very much as they are already wet. It can make for uncomfortable conditions for the fishermen, however. I have not personally observed any increase in fishing activity in Middle Earth that is tied to weather conditions. I would not be surprised to learn that Tellurian 1003 might have statistics regarding weather patterns in fishing in LOTRO. However, Tellurian has a dozen or more characters at 200 fishing skill, and seems to keep statistical information on all kinds of crazy things within LOTRO. Thanks for continuing to supply great podcasts, and keep on fishing in Middle Earth. Big Ed Mustafa. P.S. Yellow is often a terrific choice of color when selecting jigs, spinnerbaits, and a wide variety of soft plastic lures.
Is Terry snoring yet?
So yes, everybody. Yellow is fish food. In case you did not know this.
So don't wear yellow unless you want to get eaten by the fishes.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Oh my
Big Ed.
gosh.
If you would like to also send us an email, you could send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersLI, LOTRO Players @LOTROPlayers, Ariendis @Ariendis, Maven @TokenMaven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda @Senswinda, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On the first and third Friday of each month at 11:59 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. And every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that is it for tonight. This is Pineleaf Mules reminding you to skirmish responsibly.